Welcome to Roll For Turaco.
Welcome to Roll For Turaco. This is Frank. I'm going to take my glasses off because they keep falling and I keep touching my glasses. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not really going to talk about gaming in general, but I'm going to talk a little bit more openly, more candidly, and talk about my sons and what I'm trying to do with them and why I do and some of the things that I've been doing lately. So this video is in a way a response to another video, a video by Nate from Tabletop Family. Now I think he changed the title of that video since the last time, or since the first time I saw it, and I let him know I was planning on doing a type of reaction video, but I'm not really like going over a lot of things that Nate said in that video, or arguing or debating. Is that video inspired this video? Because I did like that Nate had the courage to just go on camera and openly talk about his divorce and how that is affecting or has affected how he relates with his sons. So he does go into a few things, and he talks about how he uses gaming to connect. I suggest you go watch that video. There will be a link in the description below, and I will be tagging Nate in this video. But I'm not going to dissect that video. That's not what this is about. I'm just going to talk about my life and my kids. And this is the first time that you're watching one of my videos. Put this here. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, my name is Frank Salazar, and this is my channel, Roll For Turaco. I do have another channel, Salazar Art Nation, where I show and talk about art and different art things. And I do have a casual channel, Salazar Nation, where I post random things that I do in my life. Some of them is delivering speeches, some of them is just activities and events that I'm a part of, and sometimes it's just updating people on what's going on with my life. This channel is more geared towards gaming, TTRPGs, role-playing games, and other things that I enjoy, the other games and types of games that I enjoy. So I try to keep it within that topic. And part of the reason that I first started this channel was that I wanted to look more into tabletop role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, specifically Dungeons and Dragons. And the timing when I did that was a little off. Apparently, a lot of people were hating on on the current, I guess, IP holders of Dungeons and Dragons, and even then, D&D still gets some crap. I think it's like leftovers, satanic panic stuff. Anyways, that's not what this channel is about. That's not what this video is about. Just you know that was the atmosphere when I started making videos. But my reason for getting a little bit more involved with tabletop role-playing games is I wanted to know more, because I was not always, but when I was younger, some of that satanic panic was still around. So I thought, oh, don't get into it. And I'm like, all right, fine. I want to get into it because it sounded interesting, and at this point, or at least when I started this channel, like, I'm an adult. If I want to play, pretend with dice, I will. But I want to make sure what is it that I'm getting into, and after some time of research, I enjoyed what I was seeing. Just found a lot of different YouTubers and different games. And I also wanted to make my own game, my own RPG, either system or just maybe. And originally, I was thinking something with uh, the D20 mechanics and just adding my flavor to it. Um, I'm still working on it, but a lot of that's just doing research and just seeing what I like. Uh, there is a version of the D20 mechanics that I'm leaning towards to, but I'm not going to be discussing that. I do have a series where I talk about different things that I'm working on for that game that I'm creating. I even made a simple or a more easier uh, dice combat game called Battle for Warbreaker 7, which you can get for free on my link tree. Uh, so those were my original reasons for getting into the hobby, just in general. Why I continued to delve more into the hobby and not just learning research and wanting to make my own game is that um, like Nate, I wanted to connect with my children. Now, I am divorced. I've been divorced for, let's see, maybe I don't know the date off the top of my head because I've been separated uh, before that. Uh, but it's been a total of 11 years since I lived with my now ex-wife, and that was back in 2015. And I won't go into the reasons for the divorce, but yeah, it wasn't fun. It, I didn't have a lot of custody with my kids. I do have some custody. There is a some travel distance. Um, it's fairly close, but it's still is still some distance away. Uh, and for different reasons, I don't always see them. But when I do see them, when I do have access to them, uh, I want to do things where we're both going to have fun and we're both going to connect and bond. And uh, while I was, looking into uh, Dungeons and Dragons, that was around the time that Stranger Things came up, and my oldest son, which he was around, let's see, 12. Yeah, about 12 or 13. Actually, no, I think he was about 12. He had started watching Stranger Things, and I had talked about Dungeons and Dragons. I had mentioned it, and he said, "Dad, can we play uh, Dungeons and Dragons next time you're here?" Because I would visit. I still visit sometimes, but now I lean more for to them to come to me because I can actually show them more the things that I do here in the town. Like I have family and friends here. When I'm over there, I'm just limited to staying with someone in their family. Uh, so I don't really take them to a lot of places. Anyways, that's just what it is. Anyways, my oldest son, he wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I had the Essentials kit. I had just bought it, and it was something I was looking into because was doing research, and this is neither here nor there. It's just something I kind of stumbled onto some dungeon tubers, and a lot of them saying, "Oh, it's easy to get into. You can run this right out of uh, uh, right out of the box, essentially. And I think they were talking about the Essentials kit. So I took them as for their word that right out of the box. I'm looking at it. I'm reading it, and I'm trying to run it at the same time. Yeah, no. Oh, keep keep throwing these. No, you actually do need to do some prep. So at least read it. At least read the module. Um, so I tried to do that. It was a failure, but I wasn't going to give up, and my son still wanted to play. So the first time we actually did attempt it, didn't go that well, and after a while, I decided to just stop trying to do it the way that dungeon tubers do it, and I found basic fantasy, and that was a lot easier to get into. Uh, so, so what I ended up doing uh, when I had my kids, the after that, I told them in advance, okay, we're going to run a game. I'm going to run a game for you guys, and I'm going to be using the Essentials kit. But what I did was I used the basic fantasy rules, and that really helped a lot for me. And uh, they did like it. At that time, it was my oldest son, my daughter, she's the youngest child, and my middle son. My middle son didn't really want to play at first. He was mostly playing video games or either the console or on his phone, and so he didn't really play with us, and that didn't really sit well with me because I wanted to connect not just with my older son or my daughter. I wanted to connect with all of them. Uh, so I looked more into playing basic fantasy and not just basic fantasy, looking to see what other uh, games were out there. So I did find the Deathbringer RPG game, the Difode. That's the 3-page pamphlet on Drive Through RPG. So uh, I used that, and I also found Old Swords Reign. So I combined those two. Uh, so the next time that they were here, I I started a campaign with them and involved all three of them, and we wrote up their characters. So and this time I was a little bit more not strict, but did tell them, put your phones away. We're gonna focus on this, and it has been a rocky start just trying to find uh, stuff that they'll connect with, how they play, learning their style of play. Uh, they do play a lot of console games, uh, so I wanted to get away from that for just a few hours out of the day, or or when we're playing. So that was a little bit of a challenge. It was just something we I just kept on doing, and always modifying and trying to see what they like. And I wasn't so much changing systems. I wanted to stick with what we had started. The first thing we did, the first session we did was actually I ran a free adventure. Uh, so I used that, and I used basic fantasy. I did change some things, but overall, I tried to keep it more or less to the adventure. There's stuff that didn't really make sense to me, um, because it was more in that 5e style, and I knew it was gonna raise questions. Like, I think the one of the main protagonists was a tiefling, but there was no reason for it to be a tiefling. Like it didn't matter. And since this is something that I'm playing with very new players, like they're gonna be asking questions like, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know. So like I just changed it. I changed the race. I made it human. I did keep some aspects, but I made it that uh, it was like props that the I think it was a captain, the sea captain would use. Yeah, like horns attached to the hat. Uh, but they liked it. They had a good time, uh, and that was a one shot. And we started playing Deathbringer, and I used Old Swords Rain rules for that. Uh, and that was more of a campaign. So we had been playing that for on and off for a year, uh, and we actually just finished it not that long ago. It's been a journey, just seeing what works and just seeing how uh, their brains work. My kids, like how they interact, and how they think of things, and trying to resolve some issues, some problems. Uh, I thought I would have to do a lot of hand holding, and I didn't really. Once I just explained some of the things that they could and couldn't do, or they could try, uh, they picked it up really well. So, we mostly played basic fantasy with also Deathbringer mixed in with Old Swords Rain. Uh, Now since we did finish uh, the campaign we were playing, and we did do a one shot. I connected it to Deathbringer after we finished Deathbringer. I connected that their characters went on another journey, and we played Frankenstein, and it was a module by Professor Dungeon Master. So it stayed in that Deathbringer family, and they actually liked that a little bit more. They had a little bit more freedom. Now they knew more of the things, but we did follow the adventure pretty much the way as the way it's written. It's system agnostic, so it's open ended. So it allowed me a lot of room to kind of play around with different things, and it's a setting that I like, and that my oldest son was familiar with. So so he did really enjoy it. I think both my sons enjoyed it. At this point, my daughter wasn't here when we played that one, uh, but my sons were here and they enjoyed it. And then we ran again the original adventure we had played over a year ago, and it was enough time had passed that there's some things I had forgotten, there's some things I had remembered. So they weren't playing it exactly the same, and they weren't trying to min max. They were getting more into it, uh, and now they had a little bit more experience. They kind of knew what to do, and how to make it fun for them. And, and my oldest son said that uh, that one was like one of the most fun adventures that they played. Uh, Second to the one we had just did with the Frankenstein. So even though there were times where like I was thinking they're not really having a good time, um, I did stick with it. I don't know if they were miserable, I wouldn't have continued. There were times where I did get after them and say, if you don't want to play, we're not gonna play. We'll we'll just head on home. But I let them know they're also not going to be playing video games. I wasn't going to reward them, you know, not having like a little bit of a bad attitude because they're kids. They're gonna have their moments. So they understood like, okay, we should play, and then once we started playing, all the whatever they were arguing about, whatever I was getting mad at them about, that just went out the window, and we just enjoyed ourselves. But I like to think if I had stopped and completely just, okay, we're not gonna play this. You don't like it. We'll play something else. Uh, we wouldn't have gone to the point where we had two adventures, pretty much back to back. Two different days, but within the same trip. And these were one-shot adventures, where they had a really good time. Uh, that we were talking about it, afterwards, and that's been one of the struggles connecting with my kids, especially my middle child, because he is a lot more like me. He is a lot more inclusive, or not inclusive. What's it called? Not that he's not inclusive. Reclusive or introvert. He's more introverted. Uh, but for him to put down the phone, put down the console, and asking, "What are we gonna play next?" That was a big deal for me. Uh, so then they'll be here in November, and this time all three of them will be here. But I had let them know, okay, we finished the playing the campaign with basic fantasy. We finished the Deathbringer. Uh, you know, we got some extra adventures in. Let's try something new. So that's why I bought Avatar, the the Airbender. I forget what it's called. Avatar Legends. Uh, so that's gonna be something where we're gonna try a new system. I hope it'll be good. I never played it, so I will be reading more into it, and I had been preparing and looking at it. But yeah, all of that is just because I'm wanting to connect with my sons, and actually this, not this channel, but the role playing game club that I have here at the library, that started because of my oldest son, um, wanting to play with more people, and not everyone, not we will always have people. There was at first, well, we had someone dropping in every now and then, and there was times where I had a regular little group, uh, and I did do a video that one of them had to move away for work, which is hey, great for him, but that ended the group. um, but now I actually have someone else coming in. But I wouldn't have had that club if it wasn't for my son wanting to play, and he's the one that suggested, why don't you just start a club at the library. Uh, uh, so he's the one that put a lot of these things in motion. Wanting to play Dungeons and Dragons, and me looking for something that they can easily get into. And it turns out that they had been playing at home with their well, he would be my former brother-in-law, their uncle. And that's when my middle son was playing at his table. So when he came back, he was more open to it, because now he understood what it was. So that was good. Uh, but yeah, if I if I had just quit, if I just said, they don't like to play, or no one's coming to the club, like, who watches these videos? I wouldn't be here like a little over a year later, you know, having these moments with my kids, uh, where like they were really getting into the game and enjoying themselves, and with the my new player that that's been coming, he's been enjoying the playing basic fantasy, and this is actually, I think it's his first TTRPG, and he had said that it, at least our interaction, I can't speak for other people's tables, but at least for our experience, in his experience, is it's better than a video game. So that was a big compliment for me. So uh, if I had quit because none of this was successful, like, I wouldn't be here. I would just move on to the next thing, and I'd still be trying to find ways to uh, uh, just develop a bond with my children, because uh, I don't really see them that often. So these are the times that I have with them. So I want to make those the best times when they're here. And if I didn't think that playing tabletop role playing games would help, it would be something else. But yeah, like I wouldn't keep playing. I wouldn't keep doing this. um, but I've seen a change in them. I've seen a change in how they connect, and especially how they connect with me. Uh, it's not a drudgery them wanting to come here. Maybe my daughter, but that's a whole different story. Uh, but she's little. But I've seen a difference in my middle son. I've seen a difference in my oldest son, and they kind of like feed on each other, or they'll help each other, but they'll also kind of push each other's buttons. So that's where I have to step in and parent. uh, but that's limited at the table. That they when we were at the table, they know, hey, we're gonna play, and you know if they're if they're not goofing around outside of the table, uh, they know that like we'll have a better time at the table, because I'm not having to get after them to pay attention to their character sheet, uh, and that's been rare. So, um, but yeah, I made this video because I was inspired to just share my story, get on camera, and talk about it. Because I saw Nate's video, I commend him for his courage to just make a channel where the whole thing he's talking about trying to connect with his family and his children, and finding things that work and things that don't work. Um, so when I saw his video, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to make at least one video where I'm just open and honest. So there's not going to be that much of editing here. So if I had a lot of pauses, or which pauses are actually a good thing, but if there's a lot of broken air, so be it. If there's a lot of uns and uh, that's just what it is. I'm not editing this video. Very little. I will most likely add the intro, uh, and I'll see if there's any parts where I had to restart. But but that's it. This I just wanted to share my story, my reason for doing this channel, doing the role playing game club, and why I didn't really quit, even though some people had told me to quit, or people told me don't play TTRPGs, and part of it was the satanic panic mentality. And I've had people question why I keep coming to the library, setting up games when there's times that people don't show up. I think it was Nate even asked if I wanted to be successful because it didn't seem like I was being successful. Uh, it takes time to be successful. I think he did a video where he was like said he's not gonna chase the algorithm anymore. Like, yeah, that's you can chase the algorithm. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that. There's a few tips and tricks that I use, but I'm not looking at the latest trend. Um, I just there's stuff I want to talk about, and I'll talk about it. Stuff I want to do, and I'll do it. But yeah, I think he had asked, like, do I want to be successful? And I said, yeah, but it's I can't just give up because no one's showing up. I do give myself a a time frame. Uh, but the reason I keep going and I keep doing this is because I did have success. I just hit a wall where or a bit of a dry spell, but it's actually picking up again. And I have been having success with my kids, and that's actually more important to me. So even if I only had my kids, I'd still be doing it because I know that it's helping them a lot, and, and it's helping me connect with them more. And we don't just play role playing games; we do other stuff too. We've been just spending more time with family, uh, introducing them to some of my other friends and my family, so that it's not just me and them, and they're all cooped up. So they are enjoying that. Um, I yeah, I want to say they have a good time when they're here. I think they do. um, and I can't wait for when they return because we'll be playing Avatar Legends. Uh, but yeah, so I'll wrap it up and say that uh, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and uh, I'm seeing the success, slowly but surely. I I'm I want this to grow beyond just a YouTube channel. I want this club to grow within the community, and I've been advertising it more. I did team up with a suicide support group. I'm actually part of that group. Uh, but every year they have a 5K, and this year I I connected my finances with that. So I'm just putting my name out there, and I think I'm gonna do the same next year. uh, so that was great. I did do a video on that. I do have a speech on that. I think it's on this channel. But yeah, I'm not gonna give up. I've been through a lot that I I can't just give up because something goes wrong or I hit a wall. Uh, just because other people think I might be a loser, that doesn't mean I think I'm a loser. Uh, I'm gonna keep going, and I'm seeing success in the club. I'm seeing success on my channel, and I'm seeing a lot of success with my kids, and that's most important to me. So, this has been Frank Salazar with Salazar Art Nation. If you want to help support the club, I do have a PayPal. There's a link tree in the description below, so that will take you directly to my PayPal. There's also a free game that you can download, Battle for Warbreaker 7. I have my mission statement up there, and I also have a flyer for the club, and I have a short video on the role-playing game club, so if you want to see that, and it's also on this channel, so you might have seen that. If not, it's all on that link tree, so check it out. And I don't remember if I put up the Gumroad, but if it's not up there, I think it's actually in the description. So if there's stuff you want to buy, I do have some things available on my Gumroad. So that's another way to support this channel. This has been Frank Salazar with Roll For Turaco, and we'll see you next time.
In a world where dice determine your fate, and the only thing holding you back is your imagination, embark on a journey of adventure, perils, mayhem, and treasure. Unlock the hero within, and don't forget to roll for Turaco!